Alrighty, welcome back to Fantathon, our quest to casually let's play every mainline Final Fantasy game, plus some bonuses. And we are on our 10th game, Final Fantasy X. Now, full disclosure here, Final Fantasy X is one of my favorite games of all time. I think part of the reason why this is one of my favorite games of all time is just the time that I played it. I played it pretty close to when it came out, and I was just getting used to like the PS2 and at that time, really actually good looking 3D graphics, and I was like blown away by how games looked. And at that time, a lot of people are starting to play like online games and like actually bigger games. So I was looking for like a world to really get absorbed into. I was really big into reading at the time too. And so, like, I was looking for worlds to delve into and learn about the lore and stuff. I was just kind of in that headspace at the time. And then Final Fantasy X comes out, and they put so much effort into the world building in this game with all the different languages and religions and races of people. And so I just got totally absorbed. Like, forget even the combat and stuff. Like, just the lore of the world and everything just really captured me when the game first came out. So that's a big reason why this game became so, important to me. But then on top of that, it has probably my favorite combat in the whole series, at least the mechanics of how it works. Yuna ended up being my favorite character of all time, as you can see behind me. The music is excellent. The story is excellent. And there's just a lot to love about Final Fantasy X. But having said that, this is one of the more divisive games in the series, and probably one of my is going to be one of my favorite playthroughs for Fantathon, because I really want to explore what's good about this game and what's bad about this game. There's a lot of people that dislike this game for a multitude of reasons, and I really want to take a step back and listen to the people that dislike this game and why they dislike this game, and kind of just take a deep dive into what worked here and what didn't work here, what split a lot of the audience with Final Fantasy, because when this game came out, this was the turning point for a lot of people, where they said, all right, to heck with the new Final Fantasies, I'm going to go back to the old ones. So I kind of want to explore why that is, why this was the one to send a lot of people away from the newer games. And also just kind of gush about how much I love it and why I love it. So with that, we're going to jump right in to Final Fantasy X. All right, so we're going to skip the opening cutscene, the opening trailer thing, because it's super spoilery. I don't know what it is with these older games, but they love to show like every character you get throughout the entire game in the cutscene when you start up the game. So we're not gonna not watch that. Also, speaking of spoilers, we're gonna be a lot more lenient with spoilers during this playthrough. I still want to keep like late game story stuff out of the chat, just for anyone that's new to the game that wants to experience the story. But in terms of mechanics and stuff, this is one of my favorite games of all time. I've done challenge runs of it. So I'm very, very familiar with the mechanics of the game. So if you want to talk about some of the mechanics, feel free. I know we've had to be super strict with the spoiler stuff over the last couple games because I wanted to experience the game. You know what? I forgot. You see this anyways at the start, I guess, so never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. This is the same thing that plays at the start screen. I forgot it plays also when you hit new game. So never mind. We get to see everyone. I feel like they did this because the beginning of the game is just Titus for a while, and they wanted to let you know, like, hey, there's other characters. So, but yeah, I know we've had to be strict, so this one will be a little bit more lenient. Also, reminder, this is the original PS2 version on an original PS2. It's being upscaled through my OSSC, although it's actually being passed through because it has to be because of my capture card, but it looks great anyways. But it's being upscaled, but this is on the original game, on an original PS2 controller and everything. As always, we're trying to keep it as original as possible for Fantathon. And that means that there's no expert sphere grid. That means there's no dark aeons. The post game is much smaller. than the international version or the remaster. But there's still plenty to do, plenty of cool stuff that we can check out.
Listen to my story. This may be our last chance.
I said before that I wasn't going to do the Monster Arena, but I've thought about it, and I might actually do the Monster Arena. I think it would be cool to show off, and I'm definitely going to be showing off some of the Ultimate Weapon side quests, because those are what get memed on the most about this game, especially the Chocobo race and the Lightning Bolts. So I'll be showing that stuff. Maybe not the Lightning Bolts. I'll show the funny exploit with the Lightning Bolts, though. But yeah, we'll definitely do some post-game stuff. And maybe I'll even do the Monster Arena, too. Even though it might take a bit. I'm probably not going to play a ton of Blitzball. I will play some, but there's some unfortunate mechanics with Blitzball once you get good at it, where it's just kind of not fun. But I do love me some Blitzball from time to time. Maybe I'll show my broken Blitzball file, too. I've showed my broken Blitzball file a couple times on stream. Maybe I'll show it at the end of the playthrough if I remember. I have a file from when I was a kid where I completely destroyed Blitzball to the point of no return. And I've kept it ever since. Can I have your autograph?
Good luck tonight.
Nothing to worry about. Oh, if I score a goal, I'll, do this.
I'll do
That
this.
was for you, okay? What seat?
He's blocking the front row. Fifth from the right.
Got it.
What a charmer. Yeah, also, you can hear in my voice I'm still a bit sick. It's been rough, man, I'm telling you. Like, it's been really bad. I have been sick for like 2 months, so I apologize if I sound nasally. I'm doing my best to down this coffee to kind of open myself up. I took some medicine too, but if I sound like this, I'm sorry. The game is too quiet? Alright. It's actually weird. I tested it yesterday and I thought it might be too loud. Alright, let's try that. Let me know if it's still quiet. Does the game... I'll have to see if the game has some settings too. I can't get into the settings yet though. So, pretty hype. We finally made it past the PS1 games and we're into PS2. That's a cool milestone. I would say we're past the retro Final Fantasies, but I think Final Fantasy X is kind of also a retro Final Fantasy. Like, it's the turning point. Some people think it's like the last retro. Some people think 9 was the last retro. I mean, it certainly is a step up from 9, but at the same time, it's still truly turn-based. And it's still not HD yet. So... yeah, it's right in the middle, because it's still turn-based. In fact, it's not even ATB, it's true turn-based. And it's not HD, it's 480i PS2. So you could say that, like, 12 or 11 are truly the first modern ones, where they started to move away from turn-based. Or you could say that this is the first modern one because it's the first one past PS1, and Final Fantasy IX was kind of the final retro game to have all the retro themes and shout out all the retro games, and you know what I mean? So, like, I don't know. I kind of agree with both stances. I think that 9 is truly the finale of the retro games, but at the same time, this game feels like it fits, to me. I know some people would be like, that's crazy, but to me, I still feel like it fits. Also, it is still Squaresoft. It's the final Squaresoft Final Fantasy, so if you want to go by that standard, then it's still a retro because it's still Squaresoft.
Can you sign this?
No prob.
No problem.
Please?
Alrighty.
And we're finally into the voice acting.
Take it easy.
So I get to talk a lot less during this playthrough, which I guess is nice because I'm sick.
Well, gotta go. Cheer for me.
I'm still really impressed.
2, 3. Teach us how to blitz.
He just had a blitz.
Hey, I got a game to play.
Then teach us after.
Maybe tonight? Well,
You can't tonight.
I mean tomorrow.
I love how he just listens to the creepy kid.
Promise.
You can't tonight. Where's Clank? I do truly love the voice acting in this game, even though it does get campy at times. I think it's really good, especially for a PS2 game, and especially the first one that Squaresoft did. I think this is the voice... It's the first voice-acted Final Fantasy. I think it's also the first voice-acted Squaresoft game, but I might be wrong. But I think it's really good for, you know, what it was. It does get campy at times, but it's also because of Titus's voice actor.
Shop running away from home when I heard the news.
I mean, I wouldn't call
Our hero, Jacked, gone.
Orin
Vanished into thin
campy at
air.
any point, so...
My dad must have been his biggest fan. I knew how sad he'd be. Heck, we all were that day. Zanar, I says to myself, what are you thinking?
Are
I
you
went
thinking...
running straight back home. We sat up talking about Jack all night. My dad and I never talked
song is so
much.
good.
Whoa. Didn't mean to reminisce, folks. Anyway, 10 years later, the Jack Memorial Cup tournament is today. The two teams that have won through to the finals are, of course, the Abes from A East and the...
Apparently I skipped part of that. I thought he would keep talking.
Make way, make way. Coming through, sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like Orin's voice actor, but it's on him.
Late.
And that's the only time we ever hear him, I think.
Hey, let go of me.
It's kind of weird. Alright, here we go, boys. The cutscene that probably completely destroyed my mind as a kid. Like, probably changed my whole life. This cutscene, man, blew my mind. Look at those graphics. I had never seen or heard anything like this. All I had played was like Final Fantasy IX in terms of like big, you know, cutscene stuff. Look at this. This blew my mind. And I was into heavy metal at the time, but I had never heard heavy metal in a game. So I was like, are you kidding me? Orin looking so dang epic. Look at that. I love the bubbles coming off the... coming out of his jug. That guy just died. Or girl. I couldn't tell. I'm stepping through the puddle. Everyone else freaking out. He's just chilling. What a way to set up Orin as such a cool character already. Matsu on the guitar, jamming out. And then there's this. Such a great setup. It's like, oh, I want to do that. And then you get to do it later. And he's dead. I remember watching that cutscene and then talking to my brother about how it's possible. Like, we got into an argument as to, like, how a giant water sphere could possibly, like, exist like that, and you could go in and out of it. And also, the big conversation that everyone always has is, like, how do they breathe? Or, like, how do they hold their breath that long? So we used to get into arguments about, like, is it magic, or do they just, like, train over time to hold their breath long enough? Which I think apparently is canon, I think. I think they, somewhere in the game, someone says something about training to hold their breath. But, yeah, we used to get into arguments about that, and, like, how the orb works and stuff, which is funny, because, like, forget the fact that the entire city was just blown up by some, like, giant wave of magic water. Like, we're talking about how the orb works. Meanwhile, the game has, like, all sorts of other crazy magic in it. But I think we just wanted Blitzball to be real.
Orin! What are you doing here?
I was waiting for you.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, Leviathan was on that screen. I missed him.
Huh?
It begins.
What?
Don't cry.
Don't cry. Just a small reminder, don't cry.
What the? Hey, wait!
You cried.
Hey, not this way.
Look.
I truly can't believe how good the music is in this game. Like, after 9, it's like, how do you take that and make it more modern, but still sound so good? It's just, man, this game's so brilliant with its music.
We called it sin.
It fits, and yet still feels modern.
Sin?
Yeah, it's like he makes his magnum opus, and then he's just like, alright, we'll just make more magnum opus part 2. How is this guy not a real-life wizard? Yeah, whack him.
Take it.
Gotta love this. How do I hold this thing?
My old man?
I hope you know how to use it.
I'll figure it out. I do love that part where he kind of decides, like, alright, I'm gonna one-hand it.
These ones don't matter. We cut through.
So, now we get to talk about the mechanics of the game and why this is one of the best turn-based RPGs of all time. the way the turn-based works in this game is like, I feel like truly the amalgamation of like all the old Final Fantasies. Now, granted, some of them were ATB, so it's different. And I kind of prefer ATB in a lot of ways because it actually rewards you for being quick with your actions and stuff. But there's something about 10 that's so great for stuff like challenge runs and stuff, because you can see which monsters are going to attack when and how attacking them affects the order and how certain actions affect the order. And you can make a real stylized plan. So if you're into like tactical RPGs or more of like the strategy behind RPGs and not like the quick action like Final Fantasy VII, then it's like the absolute perfect battle system for you. Of course, if you're, you know, if you're not into that as much and you like ATB more, then you know, Final Fantasy VII's system would probably be better for you. But if you're into this kind of style, this is the best they ever did it. And that's not to mention the whole swapping characters out, which we get to later. Also, I love how they're showing off. It's funny, Squaresoft loves to show off mechanics like at the beginning of their games.
Don't bother going after all of them. Cut the ones that matter and run.
It's almost like they have this demo mentality where they want to show off stuff right away to keep you invested. So they're showing off right away their new battle mechanic where you can have like multiple fights within a fight. So you don't just fight and then go back to the map and then walk around, but instead we're fighting and then moving in the fight. They show that off right away. Yeah, Strangers of Paradise demo dropped. I'm not going to be playing it because I already played the other two, and I'm buying the game on Friday. We're going to be playing it when it comes out. Also, Chocobo GP came out yesterday, or 2 days ago. Or yesterday. I think it was yesterday. We're going to play that on Monday, just to try it out. I've heard it's basically just discount Mario Kart, but we'll play it just for the fun of it. So we have a lot to do next week. We also need to try to finish Final Fantasy VII 1.0.
Get out of my town!
So we can
Some can't
play
wait
Paradise.
to die.
Some can't wait to die. Then there's the overdrives, which I also really love because they're all different. Overkill, 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 overkill. Unfortunately, some of the overdrives kind of suck. But, in general, I really like the overdrive mechanic and how each character gets a different one. I thought it was a really cool way to keep limits alive, but make it more interesting to the player. Also, like I said before, this is more of a tactical RPG where it's truly turn-based. Nothing happens until I tell it to happen. And so there's not much like mechanical skill. It's all about strategically planning your attacks. And so having the overdrives be like mechanic based is a good way to insert mechanics into the game, you know, where otherwise they wouldn't exist. So I really like that. Because otherwise it really would just be sitting here pressing X. But luckily, they were smart enough to implement some mechanical skill into the overdrives. Yeah, it cannot be understated. It seems so simple, but the timeline on the right is so great. And I've seen a lot of future RPGs implement something just like this, and it's so nice. For example, right now, Titus gets a turn, Orin gets a turn, and then the monster gets a turn. But if I use an item, you can see how Titus gets an extra turn. So, you know, in fights like this, it doesn't matter much, but when you're doing a challenge run, like when I was doing my NSG and SNO challenge 7 million years ago, stuff like that is vital, and it makes it so much fun to actually plan out an entire battle. And I mean, even casually, some of the bosses in this game are pretty hard. The monster arena bosses are insanely hard. And you do have to pay attention to the timeline and fight accordingly. Now we're about to get another mechanic, because Squaresoft loves to show off their mechanics early. So we're going to get another mechanic where there's like items inside the battles that we have to interact with. Wait, Final Fantasy VI had limits?
What are you laughing at, old man? Lauren, let's get
Yo,
out of
subs! Thank you so much for the raid. Appreciate it, man. Hope you had a good day today. I know you were playing some Resident Evil.
Man.
2, I think. Probably doing runs. Happy Friday. Actually, I have to use potions during this starting battle. I love a lot of... I mean, there's so many great mechanics in this game that they actually... so, like, these sin scales, they start to flicker, and then once they flicker, they do a stronger attack. There's all sorts of cool stuff like that. Most of the time, monsters don't just attack in this game. There's a lot of cool mechanics that they implement with the enemies to make it more interesting to battle. And that's not even getting into the character mechanics, where once we get more characters, they start implementing monsters that are supposed to be taken out by certain characters. But we'll get to that.
That. Knock it down.
What?
Trust me.
What?
You'll see.
So this is what I was talking about. Now we're fighting something on the map that... There's something in the battle that affects the battle that isn't an enemy. I like how it like slowly moves while you're hitting it. Alright, fine, I'll heal. I wasn't going to, but... Yeah, we'll get to that later. But, yeah. We'll talk about some of the broken mechanics later. But that's probably the most notorious one. I'm very excited to show how broken Quick Hit is in this game, but that won't be till the very end. But it's one of my favorite broken mechanics. It's pretty outrageous. And a lot of people don't know about it because it was fixed in the remaster and in the international. Oh yeah, I love the battle animations in this game. They're so smooth. Like, I love Titus's attack. How he jumps forward and hits. That picture's so epic.
You are sure? This is it. This is your story. It all begins here.
Yeah, I love that melting effect on
Hey!
Orin's head.
Hey!
My old man?
I'm flying. Hey. Yo, Bryce, thank you so much for the 1,700 bits, man. And Gonk, thank you so much for the 55. Literally just finished my playthrough of this game this morning. Nice.
I thought about a lot of things.
And Regal, thank you for the 41.
Like where I was.
And Joe, thank you for the
what
6.
I got myself into. I started to feel lightheaded. And then sleepy. I think I had a dream. A dream of being alone. I wanted someone, anyone, beside me.
Thanks, Shiny.
So I didn't have to feel alone
And yeah, this
anymore.
is Elden Ring. First playthrough. Also, Celestian, thank you so much. I don't know if I said thank you, but thank you. And Kane as well.
Anybody there? Orin! Hey!
Hey! I dreamed I went on a trip to Macarena Temple. You notice when I finished Final Fantasy VI, I forgot to mention that it was my new favorite over 7. Oh man, darn. I did forget.
What do we have here? Nope, can't read it.
So one really interesting tidbit, which we'll see here in a minute, is that Final Fantasy X had the first New Game Plus-ish thing. I think, right? Or did... I forget, did 6 have like a New Game Plus type thing? Or am I thinking of Chrono Trigger? I think I'm thinking of Chrono Trigger. No, 6 did too. How did 6's work? I don't remember how 6's worked. 6 doesn't? Okay, it doesn't. So this is the first Final Fantasy to have a New Game Plus then. Not the first. I mean, obviously not the first RPG. Plenty of RPGs did, but... So this is a kind of New Game Plus. Not really. But basically, if you play through the entire game and pick up all the Bhed books and learn the entire language, you can upload it to this save, and then you can read the Bhed language throughout the entire game. And I absolutely love this. Like, one of my favorite New Game Plus style mechanics ever in a video game. Because it is so great to go through the game once and see all these things you can't read, play through the whole game, enjoy the story, understand the story, and then start a new game with the new understanding of the language and get to read some of the dialogue that you didn't get to read the first time through. Oh man, it's so cool. Like, it's such a great way to add to your second playthrough without, you know, here's the ultimate weapon, one-shot everything. Like, the gameplay is still the same, but you get this new understanding of the language, and oh man, it's just really, really neat. Definitely one of my favorite New Game Plus mechanics. And there's so many, like, cool conversations. You get to hear, like, some of the Bhed saying stuff that comes into play later that you didn't know your first time through. It's really cool. So at one point I started to learn Bhed, yeah. I had a cheat sheet, and me and a girlfriend at the time tried to learn Bhed together. We thought it would be cool because we could. This is true high school mentality here. We thought it would be cool if we would learn at least how to write Bhed, so we could write notes in Bhed, and no one else would be able to read it. So we tried to learn Bhed. We had like a cheat sheet. I mean, it's the same thing as like doing any other code, like Pig Latin or something. But we just both liked Final Fantasy X, so we did Bhed. Nerd! Dude, that's true. that's next level nerd. Writing notes in Bhed. But hey, it was to a girl, so less nerdy. Or was it? It was to a girl, alright guys? I wonder what would have happened if I would have stayed with that girl. Would we have had like an Bhed wedding or something? Would it have been like that Pokemon wedding I went to? The Bhed wedding. Also, we get to hear the combat theme for the first time. Gotta love these cutscenes during battles. They were really showing off. Look what we can do. A Squaresoft make in the beginning of this game. Look what we can do. Now, the regular battle theme I like in this game, but it's definitely not one of my favorites. I think it's probably the lower tier of battle themes in terms of 1 through 10. This boss theme, however, I really like. It's not one of my favorites, but I really like this battle theme, this boss theme a lot. Also, just a funny meme, you can't lose this battle. How's it going, Licky? Sudaki is pretty good. Not the best song, though. Wandering Flames or Get Out. Just saying. Whoa. How's It's on fire. How's it going, bro? Oh, it's stuck in my head. It's kind of a basic boss theme, but something about it I just really like. It's really tense.
I had made it out of the frying pan and into the freezer.
Uh-huh.
I thought I was gonna die in this place.
This is where we get Caveman Titus. Need fire. Jump scare. I know, right? Chat behaving. Love to see it. Ooga booga Titus. Incoming. Thank you all so much for being here, by the way. This is really special for me. Need fire.
Need fire.
Yo, how's it going, Magic? How's it going, Zach? You found a rock. A creepy statue. Really like the mini-map in this game. I don't know if it was necessarily needed, but I like it. I think that maybe like some of the environments and some of the Resident Evil style camera changes make it really nice to have the mini-map. That's one thing this game has that cannot be denied, is it has some really bad Resident Evil style camera changes where suddenly you're walking towards the camera and up is down and down is up until you let go of the analog stick, and then down is up and up is down. Or then up is up and down is down. Yeah, it's bad. If you've ever played Resident Evil, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're running down a corridor and then suddenly the camera flips, and if you keep holding the analog stick in the direction, then you're fine, but as soon as you let go, the controls flip. I mean, at least it's not tank controls, but... Can I pause yet? Okay. I want to go into here. That's all fine. Did you say the camera is Titus? Yo, Mori, thank you for the raid. Duh! Yo, Marsh, thank you for the tier 335. Now's the time. Thanks so much for being here. Titus Grills. So, this fight is really special to me because it's the first fight that you would normally record for a challenge run, if you did challenge runs of this back in the day, because the fight before this is unlosable.
I need food.
I need food. Ooga booga. Me warm. Me need food.
What do you want?
It was a bad call. Your team lost because of you.
Ah.
You came to say that?
It's been 10 years. I thought you'd be crying.
Who, me?
Who, me?
You cried.
I love this kid. Don't cry. You cried. How's it going, Nice Bunny? All of the Titus haters love the beginning of this game.
Hey, wait!
Because
wait.
Titus just gets
Don't go
abused
out on
for the
me.
whole beginning of the game. Everyone's mean to him.
Just hold on. I'll get more wood.
You ever talk to inanimate objects like that? Just hold on. That's me talking to my car. Just please make it home. Please. Me talking to my gas.
Give me a break.
Give me a break. Me talking to my gas needle. Like, please, just make it to the gas station, please. Man, this battle theme, boss theme, just takes me back. Yeah, so there's some really cool stuff with the animations of characters. For example, you saw there, Titus wasn't all the way back to his spot yet, and the dude was already attacking, and so he like dodged and then went back to where he's supposed to be. There's some really cool like mechanics with how the characters work and the animations. Animations can be canceled or done early or stuff. It's really modernized. It's not as primitive as like attack and then go back to spot and then queue up next attack. Everything happens like really fluidly. Nice goggles. Also, are we going to talk about the fact that her crew like just doesn't help her in this fight?
You on my side? Cool.
Oh my god. We'll see later, but she's already so fast. Cracks me up. Look at how many turns she gets. She had like 4 turns for his turn. Or I guess 2 and then 2, but yeah. Nice butt shot. I don't know why.
That was close.
I don't know why he makes that face. Like, oh my god, a girl? Like you couldn't tell that already by the suit?
Hey, let me go.
Predict Drek! Ifin, Irisa, Tekiaka! Bog, Edeku! Kemed?
Fed!
Fred!
Shrivadak Risa!
Drelnia, Drakisha Tain.
Ifun Petted! Fapuneket Fedrik! Kuno.
Uno. Look, it's the guy from Borderlands. I remember as a kid thinking that it was gibberish language from that first conversation. Because a lot of games back then had like gibberish language. Especially for like the first voice acted games, a lot of them were gibberish. And then when I learned that it's an actual language that like comes from English and you can switch the letters and know what everything is, I was like, oh my god, this game is incredible. And then I find out it has its own like dialect, like different ways you pronounce the words and stuff. It's not just simply switch the letters. There's actually like a whole dialect to it. I was like, oh my god, this game is the future.
Okay.
Like They put so much effort into it. Blew my mind.
Kindness!
Right, whatever.
Right. Right, whatever.
I said I don't understand.
Fed! He said you can stay if you make yourself useful.
You understand me? All right, I'll work.
All right. Ooh. Ooh.